Hey, what's going on guys, it's Dan here from TableTennisDaily. Today I'm here with Tom and we're reviewing the Tibhar Evolution series consisting of the FXP, ELP, MXP and MXS rubbers. After many requests from users on the TableTennisDaily website, we have teamed up with TableTennis11.com to review Tibhar's most popular rubber series. You can buy the rubbers in the link in the description over at TableTennis11.com, where worldwide shipping is free over €70 for any of their products. The Evolution rubber is ESN based and has a firm glossy top sheet. What's interesting about the Evolution series is that all the rubbers have a strong smell, which is evident right out of the packaging. Other rubbers out the packaging do not seem to possess this same strong glue smell. The rubbers vary in sponge hardness, with the FXP being the softest in the range, coming in at 41.1 degrees. The ELP has a sponge hardness of 42.4 degrees. The Evolution MXP has a sponge hardness of 45.7 degrees, and finally the MXS, which is the hardest rubber in the series, with a sponge hardness of 46.3 degrees. The rubbers have slight variations in weight. Uncut, the FXP weighs 68 grams, and cut 47 grams. The ELP uncut weighs 72 grams, and cut weighs 50 grams. The MXP uncut weighs 73 grams, and cut 49 grams. And finally the MXS uncut weighs 75 grams and cut 51 grams. I used the Tibhar Samsonov Stratus Carbon Blade throughout the review, whilst Tom used this and his regular bat, switching between the two setups to get a better understanding of how the Evolution rubber series performs. We started out with the MXP, which is widely regarded as the most popular rubber in the series and has highly been praised by the table tennis community, and you can tell why almost immediately. The rubber feels alive and you get a loud clicking sound on contact. Another quality that becomes apparent as soon as you start playing with the MXP is the sheer amount of speed it produces. The strong catapult effect propels the plastic ball with minimal effort. Although the speed is impressive with the MXP, we did sometimes find that the ball would fly out long due to just how fast it was, so you need good control and feeling to use this rubber to full effect. This rubber is also very responsive to incoming spin and speed. We both made a fair amount of mistakes initially before we got used to it. When opening up against backspin, using my backhand for example, I felt I had a loss of grip and a fair amount of dwell for such a fast offensive rubber to produce spin on the ball. Again, sometimes, due to the high speed of the MXP, my third and fifth ball attacks went just off the end of the table, so I had to close my bat angle to adjust and maintain consistency. We could tell right off that this was a super fast rubber, one of the fastest we have ever tried. We both really liked the MXP on the forehand side when trying to lift backspin, and were able to produce a great amount of spin when playing aggressively. As this is a rubber for advanced players, those with sufficient technique will be able to use this rubber to full effect with its spin and speed. TTD member and world number 32 Paul Drinkle used the MXP in the TableTennisDaily review we did together of his personal blade, the link of which can be found in the description below. Here are some examples of myself using a combination of spin and speed to win the point. In the serve and receive game, the MXP worked exceptionally well when playing a backhand flick. The Evolution rubber gripped the ball well and, combined with its speed, excelled in this area. I found that I could follow up with an effective backhand punch shot, which, in general, is very effective with the entire Evolution range. Due to the crisp, clean feel and contact, countering with this rubber was fantastic. With little effort, we're both able to produce consistent and effective counter top spins. We also found that from mid-distance and away from the table, the MXP's speed allowed us to impart strong shots. Here we take a quick look comparing the Tennis 05 and MXP using the backhand flick against backspin. Tennis 05 first. Right. And against MXP. Okay. Again, against backspin, they both work very well. They both had to pick up the ball very good. Tennis, I still feel that bit more sink and spin on the contact. Evolution are still a touch faster, but both very good in this area, picking up the ball against backspin. The second rubber we looked at in the Evolution series was the FXP. Although the MXP worked very well from away from the table, it felt more suited at close to mid-range. The FXP, with its soft sponge, works superbly well when taking the ball a bit later, as the ball bites and digs right into the sponge, giving lots of safety. I noticed early on that I had greater control with the FXP compared to the MXP when opening up and playing the fifth ball. It did not have as much power, but controlling my strokes was higher. Spin was easier to create with the softest version of the Evolution series, as there was greater dwell to lift the ball. Although it was easier to spin with the FXP, the MXP produces more spin when playing aggressively. The ELP is the third rubber we looked at and bridges the gap between the FXP and MXP. It is a very well balanced rubber in terms of speed and spin you can produce with it. It's a great option if you find the FXP slightly too soft and slow, but the MXP slightly too hard and too difficult to control. What we really liked about both the FXP and ELP is that the softer sponges gave high levels of control on both the backhand and forehand side. The ball soaking into the sponge, giving us great ball control, whilst at the same time enough speed to play winning shots. The softness and control you get from both the FXP and ELP is more suited to intermediate players. Between the two rubbers, the FXP felt slightly slower than the ELP, but both shared similar characteristics in terms of spin and control. The harder sponge on MXP felt a tad more suited for advanced players due to its increased speed. In the short game, we found we had both a lot of control with both the FXP and ELP. We found we could keep the ball tight and low over the net very easily, which prevents our opponents from attacking short touches. The last rubber we tried in the range was the MXS, the hardest rubber of the four. You can see initially the ball flew off the table as we found it a little difficult after using the ELP and FXP, which both have softer sponges. Once adjusted with my technique, here's some topspin rallies with the MXS. Here's a quick comparison between the MXS and MXP. So the Evolution MXS first. And MXP. So I feel like I'm getting a bit more safety with the MXP. If it was a bit more softer, I'm not sure if the MXS is a bit too hard for me, but it's a bit more flatter when you hit the ball. With the MXP you get a bit more safety and dwell because the sponge is a bit softer, but it's not too soft. I like it. I was a little sceptical about using the MXS rubber on the backhand side beforehand, thinking the sponge would be too hard. However, I was pleasantly surprised. The direct nature of the rubber gave me the accuracy I needed to play strong attacking strokes, mixing up the direction of play with ease. When playing against backspin, the MXS gripped the ball very well and produced slightly more spin than other rubbers in the series. The top sheet of the MXS seems to be tackier than all of the other Evolution rubbers, which helps create more spin. To produce significant spin with this rubber, however, requires a fast arm and body speed with efficient technique.
Okay, so we're going to do a quick comparison between the FXP and ELP, which is slightly softer, and compare those to the MXP and MXS, obviously the slightly harder ones. So first off, let's try FXP. Okay, now ELP. Okay, now let's try the slightly harder one. So first off, the MXS. Okay, and then last off, let's try the MXP. Okay, yeah, so what I found there is the slightly harder ones, which I've got here, the MXP and MXS, I found a lot more suited to me. I think that's because they have a slightly crisper feeling and they're a bit harder, so when you're at the table, you get a lot better direct trajectory with the ball. Whereas the ELP and FXP, I feel like they're a little bit more suited to being back from the table. Again, a little bit softer, so you're able to get that spin and safety on the ball.
Here are some points taken from match play using the Evolution series. Conclusion. Firstly, we'd like to thank TableTennis11.com for the equipment to review. Be sure to head over to the TableTennis11.com website, check out their fantastic deals on the Tibhar Evolution series by clicking the links below. Tibhar's flagship Evolution rubbers are superb and have a range of different characteristics to suit different players' needs. We found all the rubbers have a good spring, responsive feel, but all differ in terms of sponge hardness, speed and spin. I personally preferred the MXP on my forehand and the MXS on my backhand. I felt I was able to control and handle the speed. This speed allowed me to pressure Tom in match play. For strong attacking players, the MXP would be of a good choice, as the hard sponge propels the ball forward with its extreme catapult effect with great spin. Players who take a bit more time in their shots and want control and dwell over speed would prefer the FXP or ELP. Alternatively, players who struggle for speed and want that extra bit of kick in their forehand, the MXP would be of a good choice of rubber. Players who want something a touch slower than the MXP, but with more grip and slightly more spin and a harder sponge, the MXS would suit. The MXS is also slightly faster than the other two softer Evolution rubbers. In comparison to other rubbers, the spin produced is not quite as much as a Tenergy 05 or Chinese Hurricane rubber, but easily effective enough to lift heavy backspin balls to put your opponent under pressure. Serving with all variants of the Evolution series did not give us any problems, as the surface of the rubber grabbed the ball well, producing good spin and gave us good precision and placement. All of the variations of the Evolution series work well in general for blocking and punch type shots. We particularly found blocking to be easy on the softer rubbers, as they had more safety and forgiveness. We really liked the loud clicky sound that you get with the Evolution rubbers. This feedback gave us extra confidence in our strokes. To give your own opinions on the Evolution rubber series and check out other reviews, be sure to visit the Table Tennis Daily Review Centre over on our website in the link below, where you can rate and review different table tennis products yourself. Be sure to check out TableTennis11.com. Thanks for watching.